Quick question before we start. Have you ever woken up with a genuinely good intentions, a plan, maybe even a routine you're actually excited about? And by the time you needed to walk out the door, the morning imploded into complete and total chaos.
And not because you didn't try, not because you're lazy, not because you just need a better planner or a 5 a.m. wake up call or overnight chia seed oats get stuck in the teeth.
Because your ADHD brain had other ideas, like a cascade of increasingly unhinged ideas, one after the other, until your entire morning routine had failed so completely you weren't even sure what day it was.
So today we're putting the ADHD morning routine failure under the microscope. So why executive dysfunction turns simple mornings into chaos cascades, why starting friction, time blindness, and the ADHD freeze response make just get up earlier the least helpful advice anyone has ever given us.
Yeah, that and you just need a better planner, and why it is never a character flaw.
One important thing before we dive in, we know your brain is doing a lot right now just by listening. So everything we cover today, the science, the strategies, all of it, it's going to be in the show notes. So go ahead and hit the snooze button on writing more things down on your to-do list and just have a listen.
Okay, let's do this. Welcome to the ADHD Cringe Lab, the only place on the internet where your most embarrassing moments are considered valuable scientific data.
Every week, we take one cringy, chaotic, and completely relatable ADHD moment, and we put it under the microscope.
We act it out, we break down the neuroscience behind it, and we give you actual tools to handle it better the next time.
Because understanding why your brain does what it does, that's where the shame stops and the strategy starts.
We're Stephanie and Faylene, two ADHD coaches who also happen to be living specimens.
Very much in the data.
I'm coming to you live from the U.S. Research Wing,
And I am joining from the Canadian Research One.
two labs,
One mission
open borders, equal cringe.
and absolutely no idea what actual time it is. And nobody
Nobody stopped us.
stopped us.
Nobody's. Hmm. And keeping watch over the lab, as always, is.
Our chief cringe officer, the ADHD spaghetti bear, who is wearing a lovely head wrap.
Yeah, it's hot here in Texas, and he was outside doing some gardening, and he thought this looked stylish, and helped keep the sweat out of his eyes because he's a hard worker.
He absolutely is.
He's not just a mascot. Okay, so anyway, let's grab our safety goggles and our fidget spinners, and
Right here.
got it. Oh, head to the lab.
Let's do it.
Oh, Celeste, another beautiful day. That must be Brenda's alarm. I hope she isn't sleeping right through it. She really does so much for everyone. All that yarn she untangled for her mother last night. If it's not off in one more minute, I'll go check on her. Sounds like she's up.
Okay, Brenda. Nice yarn in here.
This fair trade herbal tea is a balm for the throat and the mind. Every sip reminds me of the week that I spent in Tulum.
Did I really just drink the dregs of last night's ramen or last week's ramen? Okay, lotion.
This lavender and bergamot body creme is just... I found it, I remember, in that tiny little apothecary in Tulum. They make it in small batches. You simply cannot find it anywhere else. Dumb.
Lotion spilled is still lotion. This is minty. Is this toothpaste? Gotta be kidding me. Oh God, that's making my eyes water. Okay, where's my planner? I need a piece of paper. I need to, last year's planner. Piece of paper. I need to make a note. Pen. Eyeliner will do. Okay. Note. Send apology to Dr. Graham for missing dental cleanings and x-rays. Again, done. Okay. Contacts out. And I need my glasses. My glasses, did I leave them in the car or on top of the fridge? They're in my purse, and my purse is, okay. All right. These will have to do. Prescription sunglasses. They're good enough.
Morning, beautiful souls. I'm starting today with my fair trade Tulum tea and a grateful heart. Because every morning is a gift if you choose to receive it. Wait, that's the one.
Oh, where's my phone? My phone. There it is. Hashtag blessed, not stressed. Mine would be hashtag a mess and stressed. Ooh. Well, lots happened since 3 a.m. on Instagram. I'm going to take a minute to catch up. Just a minute. Ooh. Aw, that's a cute dog. Alicia from Counting. She got her new countertops. They look good. And Squirrel Guy tagged me in a post. Do I know Squirrel Guy? Is your ADHD morning routine killing your morning? Obviously. These are ads. 5 easy hacks for your smooth morning routine. 5. Castles and Trolls. Up your IQ. Relaxing. Large tiles for seniors. Okay. There's one more. I gotta go.
Marguerite, your sourdough starter. Thriving, just like you. Magnifique. Look at that, Pierre. Got a new rescue dog, a Lagnoto Romanolo, and he named him Silencio. Pierre, little Silencio is absolutely magnifique. The Lagnoto Romanolo is such a gift to the world, so present, so purposeful. I think of them every time I remember that summer at Villa Bellagio Lodge. Little Silencio would bring the truffles each morning just as the mist was lifting over the lake. The risotto that followed was the pièce de résistance. George said he had never tasted anything like it, and Amal agreed, but more diplomatically. Alas, I wonder how they're faring. Such a lovely community. Mon petit Silencio.
Silencio. Oh, snap out of it. Focus, Brenda. Okay, I need a shirt. A clean shirt. Fresh start. This is wet. Did I leave my laundry in the washing machine? Surely someone took it out and put it in the dryer for me. Or at least put it on the table for me. I hope I didn't inconvenience anyone hogging a washing machine all night. Oh my gosh. I bet that note on the community bulletin board was about me. It's only a little damp and only smells a little bit like mildew. Nothing. A little Febreze can't help. Magnificent. I bet Celeste doesn't even own Febreze. She always naturally smells like that French perfume, the expensive one. Parfum. That's it. I need to look it up. Okay, where's my planner? I need my to-do list. I literally just had it under the yarn, you little trickster. Okay. Let me check my day really quick. I do not have time for this.
Morning, Maman. Yes, I have a few minutes before I must depart my humble abode. My morning. It's been just lovely. I deepened my sacred lunar mind, astral body, transient soul connection. No, Maman. You're thinking of the Luminous Dawn protocol. This is the conscious awakening ritual. No, they are very different things. Yes. The bergamot one. Yes, as Rumi said, Maman. The morning breeze has secrets to tell. Do not go back to sleep. I never do.
Hey, Mom. Yes. No, I haven't forgotten the yarn. Mom, I have plans tomorrow. Book club. I know it's just book club, but I've actually really been looking forward to it. Yes, I know you've been looking forward to getting your yarn back. Mom, it's not just a bunch of single women sitting around gossiping, drinking wine. Mom, the book we're going to read, I really want to discuss it. It really resonated. Who? Janet. Janet selected it, but she always chooses the most interesting books. Mom, I can't just cancel. Yes, the yarn is already untangled. Mom, I really gotta go. Yes, I'll bring the yarn by before book club. And yes, it's untangled. Most of it. Mom, I really gotta go. Yeah, Mom, Celeste is here to pick me up. Yes, I think she's great too. Yes, the way she's always posting photos of her fancy meals is very original. And yes, I'll tell you said hi, but I have to go. Yes, okay. I love you too. Okay, bye. Oh, sorry. And don't mind the yarn, Spaghetti Bear. It's just spaghetti for bears.
Morning, Brenda. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
What beautiful glasses. Did you get them in Tulum?
May we?
And see. Wow. That was painful. And I say that with full self-awareness. and also a considerable amount of love.
Brenda did make it to wherever they were going, eventually, and in prescription sunglasses, smelling faintly like mint and Febreze.
She actually looked amazing. Very Tulum.
She really did. And that is exactly what we are here to talk about today. Because what you just watched was not a character flaw. It was not a motivation flaw. It was something a better planner could not have fixed.
What you watched was a textbook ADHD chaos cascade. And it has a name. Several names, actually. So let's put it under the microscope.
Let's start at the very beginning, the night before. Because the cascade didn't start when Brenda's alarm went off. It started when her mom called about the yarn.
And Brenda said yes. Because there's something that doesn't get talked about enough in ADHD spaces. It's people-pleasing. People-pleasing isn't just a personality trait for some people with ADHD. It's a neurological pattern. Dr. Russell Barkley has written extensively about how ADHD affects emotional regulation and difficulty saying no, especially to people whose approval matters to us, is deeply connected to that.
The fear of disappointing someone can completely override the logical part of your brain that knows you don't have time for this. Brenda knew she needed sleep. She also knew her mom needed that yarn untangled, and her brain chose the yarn. Because saying no felt worse than being exhausted.
And once she was up at midnight untangling yarn, the hyperfocus kicked in, which we have an entire episode about, by the way. But the short version is her ADHD brain found something tactile, repetitive, and satisfying in untangling the yarn, and 2 hours disappeared.
And I'm sure the yarn was very satisfying to untangle. Can't we all think of a mindless, semi-engaging, faux productive task that needs to be done, but not really? And we're choosing that over something that's important. Sorting a box of mismatched Legos into color-coordinated piles comes to mind. 10-10 recommend. Added bonus, you don't ever have to commit to completing the sets because I can guarantee you will not have all the pieces.
I concur. The data supports this hypothesis because Brenda stayed up too late. She started her morning already running a deficit. Less sleep, more cortisol, and an executive functioning system that was already stretched thin even before the alarm went off.
And here's where the cascade mechanism kicks in, because this is the part I really want people to understand. The ADHD morning routine doesn't fail all at once. It fails one small domino at a time.
Right. Dr. Russell Barkley describes executive dysfunction as a problem not with knowing what to do, but actually doing the things that you know. So Brenda knew she needed to get ready. That wasn't a surprise. Her brain just couldn't activate the sequence reliably. And then when one small thing went wrong, ramen dregs, toothpaste, missing glasses, okay, actually a lot of things went wrong there. Each thing individually wasn't a huge deal, but each failure cost her more executive function to recover from. So after each problem, there was like less energy, less fuel, if you will, that could be given to pivoting, adapting, and recovering.
Right. And less bandwidth for the next task, which meant the next thing was more likely to fail, which cost more bandwidth, and so on. It's a teeing up failure. But when you're standing in your bathroom in your prescription sunglasses, holding wet shirt, wondering, does this smell like mildew? You berate yourself for not being able to do something as simple as get ready in the morning, failing out a morning routine that was doomed before the sun rose.
And the answer is, it was never simple. It was never simple for Brenda's brain. The morning routine, never simple. That cascade was always going to happen the second the first domino fell.
And then the phone, because of course, it's all diabolical and attention demanding glory.
That social media piece is something that Dr. Edward Hallowell talks about a lot.
Dang, we are just on fire with the name dropping today.
Because of course we are. Anyway, Dr. Hallowell, a dear, dear friend.
Okay, Celeste.
All right, actually, I'm being serious here, and I do want you to hear this. When talking about social media, Dr. Edward Hallowell, whom I do not know personally, but I do know his research, and he says the ADHD brain is drawn to stimulation, novelty, and emotional intensity. Social media is engineered to deliver exactly this in an endless loop 24/7. For a neurotypical brain, scrolling is a choice. For the ADHD brain, it really can feel truly involuntary.
Right. And then the comparison trap hits differently when you have ADHD. Brenda wasn't just seeing Celeste's beautiful morning. She was seeing evidence that other people can do the morning thing, the life thing that she can't. And the algorithm, it knew what ads to serve her while she was already drowning.
5 morning routine hacks for the ADHD brain.
5.
And here's the part that I think it's the most important thing we're going to say today. Celeste thought Brenda was doing great, thought she was dependable, generous, and capable. She saw the sunglasses, assumed Tulum.
Because Brenda was masking, not deliberately, not performatively, just surviving, saying absolutely when she meant I am held together entirely by a web of my mom's yarn, prescription eyewear, and the dregs of last week's ramen.
Sorry. The gap between how the ADHD brain looks from the outside and what it actually feels like on the inside is the part that makes high-functioning ADHD so exhausting and so invisible and so very, very costly.
The system didn't fail because Brenda failed. The system failed because the system was never built for Brenda's brain. And that distinction matters. This is one of the most important things you'll say here in the lab.
This is neurological, not motivational.
Hear this.
This is neurological, not motivational. Did you get it? This is neurological, not motivational.
Got it. And if your mornings look a little bit like Brenda's, we just want you to know you're not alone. You're not lazy and you're not incapable of doing mornings.
You're working with a brain that just needs a different kind of morning. Not better, not worse, just different, which is what we are just about to talk about.
But first, Spaghetti Bear has been sitting in the dark this whole time surrounded by yarn, and I think he deserves a moment. I can find him.
He really does. There he is.
There he is.
So
All his
if
yarn
you're
glory.
sitting there feeling like your morning is just one yarn ball away from a complete and undetangleable, yeah, that's a word, mess,
What's that?
like that,
If you ever have to put on prescription sunglasses and said, these will have to do at 11 p.m., we see you. We see you through empathetically clear lenses. And before we tell you what to do about it, we want to say something important first.
because the science is one thing, but the shame that tags along with these mornings, well, that needs its own moment.
Welcome to the validation station. Ooh, there you are. Before we get to prescription, not prescription sunglasses, just our prescription, let's pause for a sec.
Because if you saw yourself in that skit, you are not a mess. You are not a systems failure. And you're not someone who just needs to try harder or wake up earlier or prep your overnight oats the night before.
Brenda wanted to have a good morning. She had a plan. She had intentions. She had yarn in her hair and a Febreze damp shirt on her back and a dentist she owes an apology to, but she had intentions.
And a purple bear that she owed an apology to. The guilt that comes after a morning like that, when your inner critic starts listing everything you didn't do, everything you forgot, every system that failed, that feeling is real. And it's hard, and we see it.
You may have been called disorganized, scattered, a hot mess. Maybe someone who just needs to get it together. These things might have been offered as critical, helpful criticisms, but they're not the whole picture.
Because what looks like chaos from the outside is actually a brain working incredibly hard just to get out the door. Brenda was in a triathlon, and Celeste didn't even know there was a race going on.
And she still showed up. Brenda did. Yarn untangled, toothpaste on her face and all. She showed up.
Still trying, still caring, and still apologizing to the small purple bear before she left.
Priorities intact. And that's the cringe.
And that's the cringe we're here for.
That was good. Okay.
We're getting closer.
We are really. Okay. Lab coat's still on.
And
we went
my Celeste
the hat.
still on.
I noticed that. Is that like going to be part of your lab gear from now on?
Pretty much,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay, I like it. Okay, well, we've witnessed a cringe. We've explained the science. Now let's talk about what to actually do about it.
4 protocols, tested in the field, as always, mostly on myself. We will make sure that all 4 protocols are in the show notes.
Protocol 1, reset the night before. Not with a 5-step evening routine you'll band by Thursday. Just one question before bed. What is the one thing that absolutely has to happen tomorrow morning? Not 10 things, 1. What is the one thing you could do right now that your future self will thank you for? I personally use this one a lot. courtesy of an expert we really do know, Dr. Alan Graham.
The ADHD brain can't reliably sequence a complex morning routine under pressure. But you know what it can do? Execute on clear priorities, especially if that priority is already decided before the chaos starts. Dr. Russell Barkley, more name dropping, calls this external scaffolding, using structure outside your brain to compensate for the executive function that isn't firing reliably inside it.
And the yarn, the thing someone asked you to do that you didn't have time for, that is a separate conversation, but we are absolutely going to have this conversation in a future episode. But for now, your morning starts the night before. Protect it and blame Spaghetti Bear when you tell someone no.
That Spaghetti Bear comes in handy all the time. Let's move on to protocol 2. Build a micro entry ritual. Notice the wording, not a routine, a ritual. One small, consistent, low effort action that signals to your brain the morning has officially started.
The difference is huge. A routine is 12 steps that have to be done in order. That is Celeste. A ritual is, I turn on this specific playlist, and that means I'm moving. I make 1 cup of coffee, not ramen, and that means I grab my lunch out of the fridge. Small, repeatable, forgiving.
The ADHD brain responds to novelty and pattern simultaneously, which sounds contradictory. But what it means is your ritual needs to feel just interesting enough to engage, but without requiring a huge amount of executive function you don't have at 7 a.m. Different enough to be interesting, but not interesting enough to be overwhelming or distracting.
Which brings us to protocol 3, name the cascade before it starts. When one thing goes wrong, in fact, it will, say, this is one thing, this is not everything.
Because the cascade fails us, not just neurologically, but also narratively. So one bad domino becomes a story about who we are. And that story costs us more time and energy than the original mistake ever did.
Toothpaste in your eyes is a setback. Toothpaste in the eyes is not a sign that you are fundamentally incapable of being a functioning adult, even if it feels that way.
Especially if it feels that way.
Protocol 4, audit your morning for hidden dopamine traps, social media, your phone in general, the thing you picked up just to check one thing.
Dr. Edward Hallowell talks
Ooh,
about...
and Dr. Ed today, seriously, sheesh. This has officially become our name-dropping episode.
Indeed it has. Well, Dr. Hallowell talks about how the ADHD brain is constantly seeking stimulation, and your phone, engineered by very smart people who designed it to be infinitely more interesting than, say, getting dressed. This is not a willpower problem. This is your neurology encountering a product designed to hijack it.
So the protocol is simple. It's not easy, it's simple. Phone stays face down until you're ready to walk out the door. The horror! No. Or across the hall, or wherever you can hear your own personal Celeste's beckoning post alerts.
And if you pick it up anyway, and you just might, call it out. Picked up the phone. I'm putting it down now. No shame spiral. Just redirect.
It's a shame. That cost more than the scroll did. And we're just trying to get you out the door.
Preferably before your ride knocks 3-4 times. Okay,
So
all right.
maybe you set 4 alarms with 4 different ringtones and slept through all of them. Maybe you got to work and realized you were wearing 2 different shoes. Or maybe you showed up in prescription sunglasses and told everyone you got them in Tulum.
Mais oui.
Whatever the cringe is, get it out of the frying pan and onto the plate.
Nice one.
Thank you. Send it to us. We want to put it under our microscope and find the ADHD science inside of it, because it's in there.
It is, as is another morning metaphor inside my brain. And more importantly, we want to prove to you that you're not the only one who's stood in their bathroom holding a ball of yarn, wondering how it came to this.
We are opening the lab doors and we want you in here with us.
So get out of bed. Get into the lab.
Oh, there it is, the morning metaphor.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
And you can email us at theadhdspaghettibear@gmail.com or click the link in the description to fill out our cringe-fession form. You can even stay anonymous if the cringe is that fresh.
Your disaster could be our next lab experiment. So help us out. Help us all feel a little bit more normal.
No judgment.
Only science.
Science. Yep. Nope. Really way off that we will eventually get to say things together.
I thought that you just were going to let me say it there. Okay. Experiment concluded. The ADHD morning routine doesn't fail because you fail. It fails because your brain is running a completely different operating system than the one morning advice was written for.
The chaos cascade is real. The executive dysfunction, also real. People pleasing that kept you up till midnight, untangling the yarn, also real. And none of it makes you broken.
It makes you someone who needs a different kind of morning. And now that you get 4 protocols to help you build one.
Protocol 1. Reset the night before. One priority. Protect your morning before it starts.
Protocol 2. Build a micro-entry ritual, not a routine. One small signal that tells your brain, hey, we're moving.
Protocol 3. Name the cascade before it starts. Fluffy? No. One bad domino is not the whole story.
And Protocol 4. Audit your morning for dopamine traps. The phone can wait. Celeste cannot. I know you want to get one more yarn reference in, so go ahead.
Well, merci for helping us untangle this one. We'll see you in the lab.
Until next time, keep experimenting and try not to
Die
of
embarrassment.
embarrassment.